Well, good evening and welcome to round two of the Tier 1 endurance race for Apex Online Racing. My name is Taximan. I am new to the comms crew. Hello, hola, and hola. How are you all doing? I'm going to be with you for this 2-hour endurance event, and we have clocked in just in the last 5 minutes of this qualifying event. We're on board now and just watching our current podium position and qualifying leader with a whopping 53.8 second. It just takes my breath away. That is that fast. First place, and we can go through the rest. Let's go out the pack and get more of a view of how things are going. Perfect. As we can see, Kill City in first position, followed by Leclerc. Then Jazzman in third, followed by Portavector in fourth, and Kaiser in fifth. rFactor, or rFactor, that's what I was meant to say, in sixth. DH Racing seventh. Luca 09 in eighth. Tinnitus Indus. What's a name? This is why I love doing this job. What's a name? Tinnitus Indus. I might have to just root for him just solely based on that name. Then we've got Flipping in 10th, S-Spell in 11th, SOP Milden, hello my man, little friend of mine there, is in 12th, and Lucas Brain 13th, Flawed Algorithm in 14th, 15th is Matthew Asbrick, and then 16th is Kudu, followed up by 17th and 18th is Rosters and Johnny Metrola. I'm just going to go for Johnny M. Why not? Keep it nice and simple. Join us around this glorious, what a track to have a 2-hour endurance event. Personally, one of my favourites. I love Harang. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it now just because I go there. The Nürburgring, nearly said the Hungary. I can never pronounce the other one, the Hungary Ring, correctly. I'll just call it the Hungary Ring, but for some reason I tripped over and I'm saying that instead of the Nürburgring tonight. God knows why. More sherbets needed for Mr. Daxyman, it seems. So, 2 minutes left. Not really much time left in this. And let's go down the board and see how we're getting on. Let's get back on with the only person who's not managed to qualify at all. He is sat in the pits. I'm wondering what he's doing in that Ferrari is Johnny. I don't know if he's just going to go and start from the back and work his way through. If he's got that much confidence, he has got 2 hours to do it. Plenty of time. More than go for it. As usual, as you can expect in this 2-hour race, there's going to be mandatory pit stops. It's down to the drivers when they want to do those. But obviously, you're going to be looking at possibly around halfway around this marker, and the time generator on the race tonight is going from 6 AM in the morning through to, I believe, late afternoon. So it is a full day's racing over that 2-hour period. So you are going to get a warming up of the track. You want to start off with possibly quite a low PSI, let your tyres get warm so they keep that grip level all the way through. It is going to be tricky, it's going to be a challenge, but this is why we love ACC. This is why we love that realism that it brings. Let's get on board with rFactor here, see how he's getting on. Get some on-board driving. Love this camera views. Wave to the camera as he is behind Kaiser. That Audi sounding, I think it sounds so ferocious. That and the Porsche in this game just sounds so beautiful to me. But both cars, very fun to drive, but will snap your neck off if you push them too much. Right, back to garage and see how we're getting on. Heading into the last 35 seconds. I want to look at the timetables and see how things pan out for practice. It doesn't update it, sorry, it's getting too used to GT Sport, ladies and gentlemen. Too used to GT Sport, and you can just pan in and out, do that. Let's see what's going on in the chat while we have got this all going on. And I've got to get on board with Tinnitus in the house because, oh, he's in the pits. Boo that man. Jazzman, my Apex man on the inside. It is very much thanks to him I am commentating for you guys tonight, so props to this guy in the Bentley. Hope he does well. Right, SOP Milden. Hello everyone in the chat. Evening all. Evening, evening, evening. Let's say something. Right, evening to Lazio, RD Maxi, Oscar Rames, obviously Milden, hello my man, and Sean, evening buddy, how are you doing? Bonjour my man, buongiorno, buongiorno, it is your Daxi man. Waffling for 2 hours, I may get some company joining me midway through, but I'm going to hold out for that. It may be a secret surprise. He is my, best way to put it, my colleague in arms. See how we get on with him. Right. Let's have a looky. Get that up as well. Sorry guys, it is me just soloing it tonight over these 2 hours. So it is going to have a bit of moments where I'm going to have to jump from this to that, and you're going to have to bear with me. And I'll be right with you. Let's get my favourite tracks details up. Well, it's actually one of my favourite tracks. And it never used to be. I say it, it's very biased. Because it never used to be. It wasn't until I actually managed to get that first section of track down, that first little technical first up to third, then back down to first, and then power out first or second, depending on how you feel. That was what I like there. Where's the Grand Prix circuit? There we go. That's what we've got here. The Mercedes era. Lovely jubbly. Oh, what's happened there? Oh, it's changed. It's gone into the race. Oh, yeah, it does that, doesn't it? You can't do anything apart from that. So let's keep on this there. Lovely little slow pan. Not done by myself at all, but I appreciate it. Just giving my secret colleague my details so he can get involved on this as well. Let's go there, let's go there. So let us know how you're getting on in the chat, what you think is going to be going on. Milden not happy with his usual qualifying. It's all right. You work your way through the pack, Milden. You're giving the others a fair chance. That's what it is. That's what it is. Sure, not good. Not giving his mate too much encouragement. Good luck to all the drivers out there. Good luck indeed. Let's hope they get all their setups sorted and qualifying and fuel levels sorted, etc. Get those spare tyres and everything dialed in, so if anything does go wrong, you know that the right set can get chucked on if needs be. It's going to be interesting to see what tactics some people use for this track. Okay, I think we are cooking on gas. Well, while we are waiting for this countdown to finish, because I believe we've got a full, yes we do, we've got a full formation lap. We're going to go through the results from the first tier in the last round, or how we are at the moment in the league, because we've only had one race at Misano last week. So the leader from that was Loka, who has come away with the 22, has come away with maximum points from that. So currently Loka is on 85, followed by Jazzman on 70, Kill City on 60, Kaiser on 50, Quebec, Judo on 40, Lerick on 35, Tinnitus Indahus on 30, Sneaky 24 Ninja on 27, Svel 89 on 24, Pokavaka in 10th on 22, Flawed Algorithm on 11th with 20, Rotters on 12th with 18, DH Racing with 16, Lucas Brain 14, Andrew Usbreck is up one spot, I believe, to 15th. Refract is down in 8th with 16th with 8 points, and then 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th and 22nd all on nothing at the moment. That is Johnny Medra, LSP De Silva, I'm not sure if I've seen him in there, SOP Milden we've definitely seen, and Flipping 83, followed by DGC, Gertrig and Interslat. These guys unfortunately all have not got anything. There was a lot of do not shows or could not shows, and then DNFs from that race. Let's see how we get on in that there. Anybody wants to know what is going on, please go to our Facebook page. That is Apex Online Racing. Look that up. You can find us on there. You get all of our details. Get into our Discord. Find out about other leagues that you can partake in. We have many things across many different games. Not only just ACC. We've got I know there's iRacing, I know there's Project Cars and many more, so do have a look, do get involved. And if you like what you're hearing and like what you're seeing and want to tune in for more, as usual, please let us know how you think about this. Leave us a like button. Let us, if we only know how many people watch really when you hit that subscribe, so hit subscribe. And if you want to see more of my good self or hear more from the Apex guys, hit that alarm button. We can see what's going on. Right, we are about midway round the track now. I have been on Jazzman this whole time. Let's mix this up. He is in second though, which will make it easier to start off with. So what I'm going to do is move it back to the helicam. So we can't really do too much else at this point, but it gives us a good start in second place as we head down, and I can then edit stuff there. Hopefully we won't see too many bad things happen in turn one on the first lap. It is ill-fated, as we all know. Kill City doing a really good job of holding up the pack here. Really good job. Everyone making sure their tyres and brakes are up to temp, so they are ready to attack from the word go. They have as least amount of warm-up for this. Obviously they're going to need more warm-up for the tyres, but the more prepared you are, the better. You don't want to lose too much temperature on those from when you come out the pits. Right, here we go. Rolling start, going to start any second now.
Green light, go, go, go.
And we're off. Jazzman tucked in there, but it is all happening behind. Let's see if we can get a better camera. But yeah, I want to get onto the Kaiser. And around we go. God blimey, there's 5 wide at some points there. I do hate how you have to flip back out of this sometimes. And so far we have had no, thankfully, interruptions. These guys are nice and clean. Brilliant stuff. Let's get involved. Let's see how where all the action is. At the moment it's down with Lucas and Lockie and Defract. Everyone there, a little bit of a touch coming out that corner. And they're looking free wide down into that turn there. That's not going to happen. With that, I think Lucas backed out there safely safely done. And just let Svel take the lead there as they head down now towards this hairpin. And let's see how we're getting on with first place. What's happened here? At the moment, quite a gap between there. So the real gap we are looking at here at the moment is Tinnitus in the house, who wants to attack Kaiser, both in the Bentleys there. Both cars going to be very well suited for this endurance. The Bentley's known to be the biggest fuel tank out of all of them. You say that, and there is a big old fight still going on behind here between Flipping and Loka. Bit of pushing and shoving. Got to watch it here. You don't want to pick up anything on the first few laps. You don't want to pick up unwarranted damage or anything like that there, especially in these early stages of this 2-hour race. Anything that will put you behind at this point here will take a lot to make back up. Granted, you'll have the time to do it. That's not what you want to do. Right. Just been informed that the reason why Johnny did start from the pit lane, oh no, I missed that there, was due to penalty from the last race. So I don't know what happened to Loka there, but he definitely got something on the front of his car. There's a lot of damage, or at least there's some significant downforce damage there. So that will cost him through this first stint. If he holds out, I don't know. Let's continue and see what's going on with the rest here. Still all going on between Kaiser and Tinnitus in the house. So here we go. Try and get where all the action's going. When you've got a big rack of cars, it's hard to see what is going where, but at the moment DH Racing is attacking Quattro in that Ferrari. Both cars known to be actually quite good and versatile. Both of them known to be basically good all-rounders on most tracks, and the Porsche known to be fastest on many. Just seems to be OP in quite a lot of places, but needs a different type of driving style. Trail braking and stuff is not as easy to do or useful as he keeps on this pressure going into these chicane, keeping that tighter line. See if he can drop in on the inside there. He has done really well done, not keeping contact, but he hasn't got a good lead. No, he has got a good run there. The Ferrari having to push wide, didn't see the Porsche there, did upset him, but they are going to be side by side now going down into this third turn. Ferrari on the outside, Porsche on the inside. Porsche has got the inside line for it. He's got to try and dive. Can he stick it? He has for the time being. Ferrari's going wide, but can he do a switchback, possibly up in the next corner? No, he can't. He's got that position up there. Good on DH. That is a position 7, 8, I believe, taken. And he will now try and see if he can close down that 5.2 second gap between him and Refract in 7th place in front of him. Meanwhile, Quadrado is going to get the attention of Milton behind him here. He wants to take advantage of that Ferrari, and you know, when you lose a bit of steam, when you get overtaken, it can sometimes take the wind out of your sails, and other drivers will pounce on that. And at the moment, it seems that Milton wants to do such things, but needs to close down that gap a bit more. 0.3 now. I'm not sure if it's just me, but that Ferrari does look like it's got possibly some damage on the back of it. Let's have a look. I do love this game, but the only thing I do hate about it... Oh no, he's gone. He's definitely got some damage on the back of that car, because it does not let go that easily through the Schumacher S's. So Quadrido down, unfortunately. I recommend him to jump into the pits and just get that sorted. Otherwise, that's just going to plague him for a lot more of the race. I don't know if he can deal with at least an hour out there. He'll drop too many spaces and not be able to gain them back. But he has got the other Ferrari from earlier right behind him now. He'll also span out that we did see earlier. That's it, Matthew Asbreck. Asbuk. And behind him there, the Bentley of Espel 89, and he's coming inside. Wise decision made by Quadrado there. Give himself as much time to make those spaces back up as he can. For now, we're going to jump back on with Luca as he's trying to take on the likes of Rotters in that Bentley. And you've got to be you can't push around this first section. And this is where Luca may suffer from that front end damage that he had on that spin out that I just managed to miss. So again, apologies for that. Only 2 hands and 1 human. I need to be an octopus sometimes with this job. But he's giving maximum pressure to that Bentley. But alongside maximum pressure, he's giving the 2 Ferraris of flawed algorithm and flipping are right behind him. They want to see if they can get past. They don't seem to be fighting each other. They want to see if they can take a snip out of these guys' sails. Cutting the inside of that hairpin as much as possible. Get us earlier acceleration out that corner up to the Schumacher S's. Keeping it in third. And flat to the floor at him. Look at him go. Really well done there. Can't seem to close that gap down for now. Let's see what else is going on. Jude. Get on board here now with Esfel as he's behind Matthew. And that Bentley wants to get past that Ferrari. That Bentley doesn't look like it's had any bumps or dinks to it, so it's going to have maximum downforce and grip compared to the front end of that Ferrari, which is going to have at least a little bit of downforce removed there. So the pointiness of that car is going to go. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Ferrari man through and through. I love the Evo. But once you lose that front end, it can become a bit of a pig. And the Bentley is a lot more comfortable to ride out that 2 hours with. He's going to try down the inside. Can he make it? No, he can't. Tries to take it a bit too tight and loses a bit more space and time there. Quadrido, only person to now, in theory, taken his mandatory stop, which he has done, and got his damage repaired. Unfortunately, he's going to have to go back in, surely. You can't go out that early in a 2 hour race and have your tyres hold out on you. There'll be a cliff edge. It will be a gamble. Let's see what he does do. My money says he will go back in, but you know, I've been wrong many times before. This won't be the last. Esfel got that move past Andrew there, up into 15th. Well done. That Bentley now starting to make the gap between him and that Ferrari ever bigger. From 0.3 up to 0.5. From 0.5 up to 0.6. Let's see how they get on through these next few corners. And it's here where it's going to make all the difference. But that front end grip has been lost by the Ferrari. And he's coming out of these corners a couple of hundreds up from him each time. So we're going to say farewell to Fel for now and see how we're getting on with the rest of the races around this track. Let's get back on with our race leader in the McLaren, Kill City. At the moment doing a sterling job, a 1.5 second lead ahead of Jazzman in the Bentley. Those two having their own little battle here. It's going to be a battle of the pit stops, I think. Kill City not managing to make much more of a gap between him and Jazzman behind there. Hanging at the 0.5, 0.7 mark. He wants to try and get as much as he can from this car as possible, so he can make that pit stop whenever he fancies it and knows that it doesn't matter what tactic the man behind him uses. He's got enough of a gap to shore up that. And that is quite a significant gap there. It is quite a significant gap. It's now got up to 2 seconds. So Kill City doing his job and want to get maximum points from this 2 hour endurance event. And at the moment, doing a sterling job of it. Let's get back on board with another driver. rFactor has caught my eye. He seems to be fairly close to the Bentley ahead of him, of Tinnitus, or Tinus in the Hus. I'm just going to call him the Hus. Why not? Makes it easier. Trying as hard as he can. What a glorious view that is. Coming around that corner while the sun is rising. Like I say, this is going to be across the day. This race did start 6 AM in game time and will go up to, I believe, mid-afternoon. So we're going to have a definite variance in track temperature, and it's going to affect PSIs. And at the moment, rFactor did not get a good turn one there. Sorry, Tinnitus did not get a good turn one there, because he is losing space hand over fist to rFactor, who's now saying only 0.7 of a second away, but it looks like he's getting closer from this cam footage. As most tricks around this track, it is slowing fast out. I want to get on board with that fight between Kaiser and Leclerc. Leclerc. Is that the best way to pronounce it? Leclerc? It is Leclerc. In front. Let's get on board and see how those guys are doing. Thank you. Something's happened here because Kaiser's definitely dropped off the pace there. Because Tinnitus is now actually catching him. Let's stay on board with Tinnitus and see how we get on. He is in the middle of these guys, so we'll make things interesting. So they both come round the Coca-Cola hairpin onto the start-finish straight. And we go all over again. Look at this. 155 is being pulled off here. I say this because I am avid racer. I do love ACC and I do have the kit and I like playing in VR. I've got a Valve Index. Doesn't mean that I'm a good driver. So these times to me are just alien. I can maybe get a 57 on a good day if the wind is blowing behind me and, you know, I've got a rocket in my back seat as well. But these guys are pros. They are the best of the best. And for the time being, the house seems to be catching. Well, there seems to be a bit of an ebb and flow between these four. So for now, we're going to step back and see how we get on. If it would let me do it each time, thank you. Let's see how we're getting on with Matthew and Esvel. Are they still at it, are they? They are still at it, it seems. Loka and Rotters, though, is where the action is closest happening at the moment. These guys going down into the far hairpin and up towards the Schumacher S's. You know what I was saying about the front end grip, I can't see anything going wrong there. Nope, that is absolutely fine. Loka giving maximum effort here to try and catch up Rotters in that BMW. Bentley, what am I saying? New brain for Daximan, please. As we go down through the last chicanes up to the Coca-Cola hairpin, and that Porsche just closed down that gap massively. The Bentley has over-braked into that there, and now Loka is starting to see what can happen. Both of these guys doing good times, but 55.6 from Rotters, where Loka was a 56.1. So let's see what can happen here. Can it be made up? Rotters pushing a bit hard through that corner. Loka taking a bit easy and conservative. It's a hard part of the track to want to chase someone down, because you want to go fast but you can't, because this bit of the track will just punish you for going fast. Second gear, maximum push out the corner. See if you can close that gap down. For now, still only 0.7 seconds between the two. And this fight continues. I'm going to go and get on board with some of the guys that have not had too much screen time as of yet. Johnny is still in the pits. It seems that he's going to just serve this race out in the pits for now. So let's go back up and see how we're getting on with the likes of Flipping. I don't think we've had the good graces of seeing him in his black and yellow Ferrari. Is that yellow or was it luminous green? I'm going to say it's a luminous green, but let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to check to see if my co-driver is ready to join me. Bear me a second, everybody. Well, if we can get him, hopefully he's going to be with us, but my partner in crime, Muddy Talker, or as I know, Trevor. Here he is, yeah. Trevor. Hello, Trevor. Good evening, my man. How are you doing?
God, I've been like an expectant father, pacing up and down the maternity ward, banging on the door.
Sorry about that. I was too engrossed in the race. I needed to check everything at the same time. Not got enough eyes. I've not got enough eyes, Trevor.
I'm here now. Don't panic. I'm with you. And I've been watching.
Oh, brilliant stuff.
And I'm with you with this battle for fifth. It is fantastic.
Oh, it's brilliant stuff, isn't it? Really good.
You'd think this was like a 30-minute sprint race. Look at them, 4 all in shot at one time. And, you know, you and me, Daxley, we've done some great race commentaries over the last few months. But unfortunately, some of these endurance races, they do spread out fairly quickly, don't they?
Oh,
but
indeed.
These guys, it's like a sprint race, isn't it?
Indeed, it is.
It's amazing.
I'm going to get on board with Kaiser. Actually, I've given the house a bit too much time. Let's get on board with Kaiser. He is still in the middle of this 4-pack here, as it does seem to be ebbing and flowing. Those two Bentleys in the middle seem to either start catching each other. One Bentley will slow down, and Kaiser starts getting picked on by the house and starts to pick up his draft. But saying all that, Leclerc, I can't pronounce that, Trevor. You're going to have to help me with that one. It's another one tripping me up there. In that McLaren is not managing to get away, even though he's got the clear air in the front there.
It's not like Charles Leclerc, the one, is it? Could we be that honoured?
Could we? You know what? If it is, and I've sullied the name that badly, I will have to give myself lashings.
I believe certain places in Norwich you can have that done for a very reasonable fee, but you know, I'd have to, you know, it's a little while since I've been there, and some of the establishments may have moved on, of course.
I don't have any of those on speed dial, I promise. Not at all. No. It says.
But yeah, it's interesting. The other guy, that we do know, Ben Milden, down there in 8th. He said earlier, these guys are aliens. I'm going to struggle. And we went, yeah, Ben, we've heard all that. You've done a Lewis Hamilton, me tying the wall, and I'm struggling, but you're still going to win the race.
Yeah.
And there he is. He's down in 8th. And this is not the Ben Milden we normally know, is it?
No, this is not. This shows the caliber of drivers. You know what? You know what shocks me the most about this race, Trevor? It goes to show the type of races we've been watching. Turn 1 on the first corner, nothing. No incidents through any of the first section. It was beautiful. I didn't know what to do. Yes, I was in shock and awe. I was like, this is going very well. So we've had there was a couple that managed to, I think, on the next couple laps may have had contact with each other and pushed themselves a few spaces back. But as for that, nothing so far. It's been really clean, really end-to-end racing. As you say, with Kaiser again now catching the back of that McLaren again. Like I say, that seems to be just that ebb and flow between these four, but they're keeping each other within that slipstream. And I reckon, do you reckon it's going to be the pits which are going to determine the strategies again as usual, Trevor?
By the look at it, because as I understand it, it's only a single stop strategy they have to comply with.
Yeah.
And these guys, maybe they're just biding their time because, you know, Quado down in 16th, he's done his pit stop. But
yeah.
I was watching him before I joined you, and he dropped back quite a bit, so I imagine he's picked up some damage.
Well,
but again, these guys maybe just playing it safe, because why not? You know, if you show your hand too early, you go wide, you cause some damage, you're going to have a longer pit stop, and your race is not done, but it's spoiled. Yeah. Whereas with these guys, maybe they're just that little bit older and wiser, and they're just taking their time and thinking, well, the race is not now. We've got 1 hour, 37 minutes to go. Just take your time, let the pit stops happen, and then we can go racing, and then you make your result. Oh, maybe, I don't know. You know, me and you, as we know, we're not aliens. These guys have got that little extra chromosome that we don't have.
Yeah. But
maybe that's what they're doing.
This is it. We have to find out, see what's going on. Yeah, Quadrido, unfortunately, he was one of the guys which did. I don't know if he fell foul to someone or he just pushed too much out of turn 1 on lap 2, but he caught the inside of the inside barrier there and picked up some damage, and it was significant enough to just start seeing drop back places. So he then took that pit in, hence why he's had his mandatory pit now taken. But due to that, I'm going to assume that he may still need to pit anyway, Trevor, because it was so early in the race. You know,
he's not going to get that time out of those tyres, surely. Just to jump over you there quickly, Daxi. Down in 12th and 13th, Rotters and Lucas Brains. Looks like they're going for it. Lucas looks like he's all over the back of Rotters, coming into the last corner.
Oh, lovely jubbly. Let's have a look at this and see what's going on with Lucas at the moment. But yes, you're right. I think you're spot on. There's not going to have the tyre, and because it's also a Ferrari, he's not going to have the fuel capacity to last those 2 hours, I don't think.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, well, my body's at a point it can't cope with a 2 hour race, so these are elements I'm not really aware of. You know, after aging racers, it's a bit of a problem. But look at it. Oh, Lucas looking at the outside there. No, that's not really going to happen. He does seem to have the speed over Rotters in that Bentley, but he just got to find the right spot to do it. I reckon down into the hairpin. If he's brave, he can lob that down the inside.
Definitely so, especially if he gets a good exit out of this next set of corners, out of this right-hander at the bottom of the hill. He will definitely get a good run down to that there. And that Bentley does seem to be pushing.
He definitely is right under the rear wing of that Bentley. That Bentley just seems to be the car a choice for so many people, doesn't it? It's one kind of, I don't really think get on with it. I know people call it a boatley because of its size, but it's just something I've never really, you know. Oh, he got it wrong. Lucas, our commentator's curse. We were picking Lucas up. He was catching him. He was right under his rear wing.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And then he just too much right foot coming out of the corner at the bottom of the hill. So I've just jumped on back with again the Leclerc battle for 4th. Eyes are looking down the inside there into the last corner.
Oh, I've jumped.
Make it stick.
Let's have a look. Sorry, I jumped on board with Milden and the others there, and oh god, those guys are close, aren't they? I don't know who to keep on with.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I know. You know, so many times when you do these endurance races, you're thinking, all right, okay, we're 20 minutes in, what do we talk about now? But these guys, I'm looking down those timesheets, and it's all so tight, isn't it? Particularly
so
this 4th, 5th, 6th battle. It's so tight, but also looking back, there's no great gaps.
No.
I'm assuming Johnny Madrell has called it a day in the pits.
Well, from what I've been told, he didn't actually qualify, so I was told that that was due to serving a penalty, and assumed that he was just going to start from the back of the pack, but he's not started at all, so I don't know if he's just not going to entertain this race at all, but that's entirely up to him, see how he gets on. At the moment, it's still a fight here between these guys. I want to see what's that gap between Milden. That gap between
He's only
Milden and
half a second between
Portavica as well, isn't there?
behind Portavica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump on there and see how it's getting on with Milden as he tries to chase down that there. Again, like you say, another Bentley. I don't know. I know they've got the biggest fuel tank, so they can hold the most amount of fuel. So I don't know if that was what makes them most popular for. Oh no, Ben.
Go on.
He just caught the inside line there through the Schumacher S's, and it pushed his back end out, twitched, and he's now going to have that spot potentially snipped away from him by Luca, who was not happy that Ben was trying to hold his place up and has given a bit of a wide elbow push there through there. Ben not happy about this, giving him the flash that there could be some potential talk about this afterwards. It could just be a racing incident. Some would say that Luca would have had to let Ben through as he eased off because Ben was in front, but then Ben was going slow and recovering from an incident himself. So, racing incident, Trevor, what would you say?
Well, I only caught the back end of it, but racing incidents is a bit of a hot topic at the moment,
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
know.
Following Silverstone last
Let's not say Verstappen.
weekend. Don't mention the S word.
Oh no!
And it's so difficult, isn't it, in this modern racing? That I think, and it's a tricky one because I know I go back to the black and white days that you don't remember. But it's when when these guys had an accident, and when you look back at the greats we've lost in things that were not Formula One, things like Jim Clark, he was in a Formula 2 race at Hockenheim, and you got people like Stefan Beloff, who's a highly rated driver that got killed in a sports car race at Spa. The danger was so much greater then. But now the cars, the tracks, and the equipment is all so safe that they're all looking for that little extra advantage, and I think you're gonna get that more bumping and boring because they're that little bit braver, aren't they? That you look, let's talk about that incident with Lewis and Max. Was that Lewis did my personal opinion, for what it's worth, is that Lewis decided before he even got in the car that whatever Max did, he was not going to give way. He had a Senna moment and said, right, this is me. This is like Senna and Prost. If Prost turns in on me, I'm just going for it. And I think, to an extent, Lewis had that. And Lewis, generally his career, he's been considered one of the cleaner drivers we got out there. But I think he decided he had to make a stand. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
But he also knew, to an extent, that Max wasn't going to slam into a concrete wall that was, a few foot away from the edge of the circuit. So, yes, there was probably potentially going to be an accident, but it was unlikely anyone was going to be hurt, and that's the difference, isn't it? It's almost turning the real racing into sim racing in some ways, isn't it? Because people joke that I do sim racing and that you're not going to get hurt if you crash or anything like that. Yeah. But it's almost getting like that with the real racing, isn't it? Sorry, I got on my soapbox there a little bit, but you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do see what you mean. I think it's a bit of a racing incident. Some, in theory, Hamilton was the car a little bit behind, so some say he may have to give him way. But at the same time, the flap that the Red Bull team gave about what happened to Verstappen, and we all know how often this guy spins other drivers out. But Verstappen's a bit, well known for it. Let's be fair. That's
Max, he's so clean. He almost wears a dog collar. Do
you really?
He's never done anything wrong, has he?
I've seen a few times that he's done a similar thing. But there we go. Right, on board now with.
Let's get back to it.
DH Racing 17. He is just behind Milden, and I don't know what's happening with Milden. I don't know if he's lost a bit of back end grip because he seems to be twitching a bit.
Hang on, we've lost someone.
Oh no.
Jazzman's gone.
No, he was in second place.
He was.
Oh no!
Because Leclerc, just noticed, has popped up to second, probably in the middle of my rant, and the Kaiser's up to third. So Jazzman, he's down in 15th.
Oh, I'm gonna guess there was. Oh no, he's pitted.
We've lost someone. There were 18, weren't there?
There was. Now I'm going to assume that was either Jazzman's gone for an early pit and it's a tactical thing, or he's picked up some damage.
Oh, blimey. If this was an audition for being commentators, that was a bit crap. We missed that one,
yeah,
didn't it?
Yeah.
I'd stack myself for that one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. So I'm just looking back up this battle of the front. If you're concentrating on that one down towards the back, that Kaiser is still giving Leclerc a really hard time down at the front here.
Oh, sorry. Bear with me a second. I think we may have seen Loka lose a spot to... Yes, he has. He's lost a spot to Ben Milden, and then with that, Lucas then accidentally bumped DH Racing, and he's now popped down, I think he's now popped down into 10th, and we have to wait for the splits to catch back up with everything. But for the moment in time, SOP Milden has managed to get through that pack, and he's now up into what will be, I think he ushered it up into 7th. There we are, it is now catching up with everything. So he's in 7th. Lucas now in DH Racing has gone down to 9th. And he's now being challenged by Floor Algorithm, who's just right behind him in that Ferrari. Sorry, back to yourself, Trevor.
Yeah, no, that's...
Hello, Trevor.
No, that's...
Hello.
Sorry, I was just catching up. I was just trying to do a bit of a cheeky wind back on our YouTube feed to see if I could see what had happened to... It's a little bit of a cheeky way of doing it, I know. It's like playing Control-Alt-Delete.
Yeah.
So let me just have a look back. I'm just trying to see. Jazzman was in 2nd there, but it was. He just suddenly dropped down the order, and I'm just trying to pick up what actually happened to him, because he was right there, wasn't he? And then all of a sudden, because that time, I'm just trying to work out off the top of my head. The time that he's lost is probably roughly a pit stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is he going maybe for a 2-stopper?
Well, that, or the most riskiest 1-stopper you can think of at this point. In theory, he's got through the first quarter. He's gone in, probably filled up the tank to the max, stuck on some new tyres, and maybe gone, right, let's see if we can ride it out. I don't know if that's a tactic. You're right. You're definitely going to possibly run the risk of having the tyre grip just cliff edge on you completely. And oh no! We've had Tinderhouse. I think it was Tinderhouse. No, it wasn't. It was Refract. Refract was trying to get on the inside down into Kaiser and caught him there. And Kaiser's managed to hold on to his position, but Refract there is dropped quite far back behind in that Audi, so hopefully he's not lost too much time.
The other little move I can see developing, DH Racing is on the back of Locker in that Porsche.
Is he really? Let's get on board. Let's see how these guys are doing. DH Racing will, let's be fair, be quite hungry to get this position back after potentially being a bit nudged out the way by Luca in front of him there. So possibly some hot blood in that racing seat, wanting to get that position back. I do love the...
yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
I do love these camera angles. No, it's all right. I'm just loving the camera angles that we get on this track. It's absolutely amazing.
And the other... Oh, and his flawed algorithm is catching up on this pair as well. Do you know the racer names tonight is giving me a little bit of a school time flashback here.
Oh, really?
You got algorithm and refract.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking of all those areas that I failed at school.
It's just all coming back up again.
Coming back to haunt me.
Oh. That Porsche wanted to have a look up on the inside. He's desperate, isn't he? He's wanted to take advantage there. And
there he goes! He's trying. He's got it. He's on the wrong side for the next one, though. Can he pull it back across? Yes, he has. What a manoeuvre there! Oh no! I don't think Locker's given this one up. They're coming down to the next left-hander. Locker's trying to go around the outside. I think the algorithm's trying to pick up the bits here if he's lucky, but I think DA just got, what a move that was.
That was a brilliant
Sorry,
move. No,
I
no.
got quite excited. That was brilliant,
No,
wasn't it?
that was a really spectacular move. Really well done there by the Porsche driver. Quite adamant to make that space up after he got pushed out on that last lap there, or last few laps. I don't know if it was definitely by Loka, but he has got that position back, and he can now try and chase down SOP Milden, who's 3.2 seconds ahead of him. And look at that. Yep, you can see the damage that Ferrari must have there, as you saw him spin out in the background, and because of that, flawed algorithms have to take the gravel, and Lucas, I think, has actually jumped up and took in 9th position. I
Not
think he has.
sure. Only that's that frustration of ACC, isn't it? It's just that little time where it needs to tell us where to catch up with everybody. I'm just looking back at Jazzman to see if we can get inside his car and see where he's working on this one, because he's back up to 15th. He's catching up with Fell in 14th, and just in front of him is Matthew Asbury UK. Sorry, Matthew. I do apologise. Oh, someone just gone for the pits there on the last corner.
So we're on board with
I think that was
Jazzman. What did you want to see? What were we looking for?
Well, I was just saying, I'm not sure what you can see from your side from the onboard, because whether he's filled that right up, is he got something that we haven't worked out here? He's back up to 13th already.
Yeah.
Locker's just gone for the pits, which was a good call by you because you spotted the damage that he had. But Jazzman is slicing his way back through the field, through the field even.
He is.
So I'm wondering whether he's got some kind of idea that we haven't spotted. Oh, the Kaiser's gone for the pits as well.
Everyone's starting to dive in now. Are they all Bentleys which are diving in as well? Are they all Bentleys? They are all Bentleys. So I wonder if that is a tactic which people are going for. They're going for, right, let's fill up that big tank, get those tyres on, and then see if we could just hang out for this last hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes, and see if we can make it work. And you know,
not for the first time. I think we're going to disagree, because I think the ones going in with the Bentleys now, we're on 40 minutes. We're a third of the way through the race. I think they're all the two stoppers. And the interesting thing in there, the Kaiser, who was behind Jazzman, because obviously Jazzman was in second, he's dropped back behind Jazzman. Jazzman's already back up to 11th, waiting for the guys in front of him to pit.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite. Jazzman could be on for a 3-stopper, which I think, for the time lost in the pit lane, is a bit brave, but it's not impossible.
Yeah. You have to be very confident in what you're doing.
It'll be interesting to see what in the next 5 minutes will tell us what the strategy is for a lot of those drivers, because the ones going in now are definitely on a 2-stopper, whereas if they hang on to the hour, they're all going to be the single stoppers. Yeah,
this is true. We've got a question from our chat room from Alfredo. Hi Alfredo, how are you doing? He's asking, Trevor, why are the brakes always red even when they're accelerating on this game? Is it a bug? I think I don't know if it's a bug, but I don't think
it's a bug.
I don't think they've got the basically the Unreal Engine 4 is so graphically intensive. If they then add in the factor that these brakes are then going to fade up and in and out as an additional graphic interface, you're going to need a near spaceship to run this at full graphics. Now, I say this because I run it in VR and it's taxing as hell as a VR game, ACC. I don't know what it's like as a sort of triple screen setup.
Well, I can't. Oh, hello. Who's got 91? Has got. Oh, Rotters has picked up a stop and go. He's been speeding in the pit lane, so that's going to spoil his race, isn't it? A little bit.
Oh, definitely is.
Or stop and go. That's like having another pit stop that you don't want to have, isn't it?
This is
so that's probably shaking him out of the pack. But coming back to the question there from people watching, yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think that's one of the compromises that they've had to take this massive game that worked on a PC with a fantastic graphic card and all that great technology that I know you actually know inside out.
Yeah.
And they've had to squeeze it down into a little like pocket-sized version that they've jammed onto the PS4. And I think that's one of the compromises. But the updates these guys keep putting out, all these things do keep improving. But again, compare this, you know, I drove on GT Sport the other night, and I thought I was back in the arcade in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's just night and day, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just think, you know, did I really think this was what they call it, the real driving simulator?
Well, I know.
In relative terms, you know, it's just like,
Ooh,
no, this is
ooh.
not driving.
Sorry, at the
Go on,
moment,
go.
sorry, we just got tinnitus in the house. He has now actually got a really good run down to this hairpin on the McLaren of Leclerc. And he's got the inside line he's going for. He's going to try and push the inside line of Leclerc. He's going to have to give up that position. He has done. And he's up in a second. Really good manoeuvre there. Oh, no, he's not. He's back up. And he's going to have to battle through the Schumacher S's. Leclerc taking that spot back. We're having to run wide. But that's then made the Bentley run wide as well. So he's actually managed to hold that position off. And some accidental, but possibly on purpose defending, which really helped him out there.
I think that's only round one, because we're coming now back up to the chicane, and I think that's where Tinnis will have the go back. Look, he's right under the rear wing of that McLaren.
Oh yeah, look how much speed
They're going around that
has.
right-hand kink, and here we go. Who's going to go defensive? Oh, unusually for me, I was wrong. I thought that Bentley was going to pop out and have a go there, and you know that's one of the favourite overtaking places, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I
As
think
they're coming around the last corner of the main straight, it's down to that first corner. What do you think? In that first corner, is he going to have a go?
Not sure. I'm not sure. He actually had to back off the accelerator midway on that last straight because he got so far up behind that McLaren and lost pace. So I think he's going to just bide his time. And there we go. That's what he needs. That McLaren to run wide as he has done. And he can now look at a switch back around this corner because the McLaren's going to push too hard. Look at that time gained. Nice and
just
wide.
the time, Rotters has taken his stop and go at the moment.
Oh,
So that's
excellent.
shuffled him right down the pack, unfortunately. So, but I think the interesting one we want to keep an eye on, this battle is really good, but I think with Kill City, it'll be interesting to see when he's going to pit, because we're nearly 45 minutes into the race and he hasn't pitted. Now, Jazzman pulled the trigger early and went for that early stop, and I think he's at least on a 2-stop, maybe even a slightly radical 3. But at the moment, Kill City's still trundling around out there. He's got 40 seconds on Leclerc, so I think he's on a fairly safe bet there at the moment. And if he can make it to an hour, wow, he's got this one in the bag, do you think?
Oh yeah, before I had yourself on, it said something very similar with the tactics. He seems to just be pushing, and you know he's going to just get a big enough gap so whenever he does pit, it doesn't matter. He's just got that cushion and he can just do what he needs. I have to admit, when it comes to endurance racing and the McLaren, I don't know enough information to say. I'm going to assume it's possibly got a similar size fuel tank to possibly like the Ferraris and stuff like that, and also the tyres are going to get munched quite a lot, especially the grading on the front too. What we're looking at? No, go for it.
Was going down. Yeah, he's gone for it. Yeah, but he's compromised on the exit from that last corner, isn't he? He's not going to have the exit speed. He's tucking back under the rear wing of that McLaren, trying to get the slipstream down to the first corner. Is he going to do a Ricardo and lick the stamp and send it? He's having a look on the inside. No, he just can't do it on that again. Again, he just needs to maybe bide his time, see what the situation is after the pit stops. I know it's that sort of inbuilt part of racing drivers. You need to get by that car in front, but maybe just needs to bide his time a little bit there.
It's a difficult one to do though, isn't it? That urge to get past that person stopping you going as fast as you want to do, because there's no question about it. It does seem that Inderhouse is possibly the faster driver in that Bentley. He is, you know, ever catching Leclerc.
He may of course be a man of God, but you're certainly elevating him to that level.
He is a Leclerc, the man of God, and at the moment the man holding second position, sorry, from the BMW driver Tinnitus Inderhus. I've given it Tinnitus. I've given it a second T for that name just because I thought it'd be funny instead of Tinnitus Inderhus. And oh no, he's pushed a bit too hard there, and he's lost a lot of time there from Leclerc. So all that hard work is going to have to be built back up again from the Bentley driver.
Just one thing that while we're watching those battles up front that we've not caught. Look at Locker. He's in the pits. He was up there fighting earlier on. He's 5 laps behind now, so he's obviously had a problem down there in the pits. He's just I've just had a look, and he's just along with Johnny Morella. He's in the pits at the moment. He doesn't seem to be going anywhere, so I don't know if he's sort of decided to call it a day.
I don't know. I'm right in thinking that you saw him go into the pits a couple of laps ago as well. And now we knew he had damage, but you know,
not that much.
It's a two-minute lap here. I suppose if it is that much damage, he may be going. Is it worth going back out? I don't know. Entirely up to him. But it's a shame. It's a shame that only leaves us now with 15 racers partaking in this at the moment.
We've worked with less. We've worked with less, haven't we?
We have. Let's be fair. We really have.
but he's now, he's dropped 5 laps off the lead lap. Even if you say he was getting on for a lap behind, that's still 10 minutes he's been in the pits. I've never known ACC give you a repair bill of 10 minutes or even 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, at 8-minute repair, you wouldn't be able to drive it back to the pitch. You'd be missing wheels, engine, suspension. You'd be missing the whole shooting match, wouldn't you? So I can't believe that's actually a wait due to the repairs that are carrying on. I think he's literally parked it up and gone for a cappuccino.
Don't blame him. Don't blame him if that's what's happened. At the moment, I'm just going through drivers, giving them some screen time. Just watched Matthew Asbrew UK, and then now on SFL 89. SFL, I'm going to be honest with you, Trevor, did a good bit of battling with Matthew to get past him earlier in this race, and was a faster driver, and I thought by now he would have made a bit of a bigger gap between him and 11th place, but there we go. It's Matthew seems to be holding his own and not letting him go more than a second of a gap between these two. And then between SFL and up to Lucas Brown, we've got a good 15 seconds with the Ferrari driver. It's a shame he got. Am I right in thinking he was one of the ones that got knocked and possibly may have scuppered the top 10 position?
No, I don't think only because he hasn't pitted yet. He's got SFL, is that little bit behind him. But he hasn't pitted yet, and apart from Jazzman in the top 10, nobody has pitted yet. So I'm sure Jazzman's got to pit again, but I think this is but all the ones in front of him are going to have to as well. So just done a rough tot up of the times in front of him. 2, 13, 15, 20. So he's about. So Jazzman at the moment is about 22, 23 seconds off second place. So I think by the time he pulled out in the first part of the race, he is going to be able to get himself back up to second. Because Kill City's gone for the pits. With 1 hour 10 minutes to go. That's a slightly unbalanced time to go, isn't it?
It is a slightly bit, but maybe he's decided, well, I'm going to dive early, just get this done and get back out. I'm not sure. It all depends. It's going to be interesting to see where Jazzman comes out after he comes out of the pits as well, how big a gap there is between the two of them. But for now, the fight between the House and Leclerc is still hot on there. The Bentley seems to, I don't know if it's particular sets of corners that Bentley seems to start making up time on that McLaren, and then he'll go through another set of corners where the Bentley just doesn't have it compared to the McLaren. McLaren just absolutely pulls away from him. I think this first section is one of those parts. McLaren does seem to be able to have a bit more balance through here, be able to possibly push a bit more.
It could be the case, is it? But it's interesting that Kill City's going to lose track position with this, despite the lead he's pulled out, because Leclerc's just going through the Mercedes loop at the start of the lap, with Tinnitus right behind him, as we know, and rFactor is coming up behind them as well.
Hold on.
So it'll be interesting to see where Kill City drops out in this.
Well,
so
I can't. This
yeah,
can't
he's
be
dropped
right.
down
He's
about fourth, I think.
Is it saying fourth? On my screen, it's still saying first. So
yeah,
we'll
think
we'll
this
see
is
when
the
he
great
gets down to
ACD.
the, yeah, you're right.
ACDC big game squashed into small PS4 problem that we're seeing here.
Ah, yeah. Yep, you're right.
but,
He is in fourth position. And it's
There
still.
we go. Do I ever let you down, Daxi?
You don't. You don't. You're spot
Okay.
on every time.
I was a bit
Spot on
late
every
tonight,
time. To be fair, that was my bad instruction as well from that. So I did turn around to the guys at Apex and say, I might have to solo up at the beginning there. I may have accidentally told my co-guy that it was started at 8. I'm really sorry. So they were like, it's fine. So dear me.
Better late than never, as they say.
Yeah,
But
indeed.
But I think the interesting thing that's shaken out there is that Kill City must have got this one in the bag, because you look at that gap between him and Jazzman, which is now 5-11 seconds, or about 12 seconds. That's both after they've had one pit stop. But we're pretty confident, unless he's pulled some kind of magic spell, Jazzman's going to have to go for another pit stop. So I think my guesstimate, and I have known to be wrong occasionally.
Never. Don't say such things. Don't say such things.
Second, but yeah, well, live into racing, it's commentator's curse. I rub my magic beads, and it causes chaos. That's what we want.
Well,
so,
Leclerc and Tinnitus in the house have both bumped into the pits. I don't know if you noticed or said that. Forgive me if I've not picked that up as of yet. But I'm just surprised at how far back Jazzman is still from Kill City.
Had he picked up a little bit of damage if he didn't spot, and unfortunately we haven't got the great replay opportunity on this.
No.
But maybe he just picked up a bit of damage, and that's what caused the delay in the pits. He was a little bit behind Kill City anyway, but I don't think it was quite the full 12 seconds. But I think when this shakes out, I don't think there's going to be a massive gap between them. I think just Kill City is just that much quicker. And we've seen him before, haven't we? And I can't remember exactly where, but he is definitely in the alien category, isn't he?
Oh yeah, no, he definitely is. He's one of these drivers that can do feats with his car, which I can only dream of. I've even gone and bought things like Coach Dave setups, and I've still not got any better, Trevor, because it's me that's the problem, not the car. So there we go.
And it works at all levels of racing. I can remember back to my karting days. They were, I got my old, it was like a rickshaw with a jet engine strapped to it.
Oh,
and
God.
there were guys turning up. There were guys turning up with the latest chassis, the latest kits, and in the early days, and I was racing in the late 90s, the early data loggers and that kind of thing. But it made no difference. They were still slow. At the end of the day,
yeah.
You can buy, as they say, you can't buy fast racing, and that's so much the case. And these guys really do show it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, and rFactor's gone for the pits, so that's 1 hour 5 left to go. I think those other guys, Milden, he's going for the glory lap up there in third, I think, a little bit. But and also obviously DH and Flord were that little bit further down on the field, and they've shuffled up due to the pit stops. But isn't it great to see everyone down to 14th on the lead lap? This is fantastically close racing to see here.
Oh yeah, this is it. You're not getting anyone really lapping each other, and it is so tight and intense. I'm just trying to see who I really want to keep on board with at the moment and see what's going on. At the moment, it just seems to be Jazzman, because he's the one sort of cutting through the pack and trying to pick off flawed algorithm at the moment.
Yeah, who's due to go to the pits any second now. So his tyres must be towards the end of their life cycle. So with the speed that Jazzman's got, I'd imagine he's going to be through there fairly quick. I'll be surprised if he's not.
You know what? I think he's... I'm not sure if he's refraining from trying to get past him because he knows that he just will at some point anyway, due to a pit stop. So he's sort of sat behind him going, he's not doing bad lap times, Floyd. You know, he's doing a good... I don't know. I reckon he's going to definitely at least be in the sort of 56, 55 second category. And with that, you know, why push it? Sit behind him. Use the toe. Let that fuel efficiency from being in the toe of the car in front work out for you as well, and see how we get on. And there we go. He jumps into the pits now.
Yeah, what a great commentator prediction. You were absolutely spot on.
Thank you.
Normally when I do that kind of thing, the exact opposite happens. Fantastic. Well done there, Daxi. So that brings Jasmine up to 4th, who's about now 12. See, after those pit stops, and obviously Jasmine's on much more worn tyres, Kill City's already pulled a couple of seconds out. Now, obviously Jasmine might have lost a few seconds behind Floyd there while he was waiting for him to go to the pits, but he definitely seemed, whichever way you look at it, to be falling away from Kill City. And I think his battle is going to be make sure that he finishes in second. So I think that's where he's going to end up. But he's in 4th now. He's got Ben Milden and iRacing to get, who are not that far up the road. But it still could be quite a tight finish, this one, because I think Jazzman's going to have to go for the pits again.
I don't know. I want to hope for his sake he doesn't have to, but I think you're right. He may have to, but we don't know at this point here. I am going to go with... Shall we see how rFactor's getting on? Haven't seen that guy in action for a little while. Currently...
Just as a little side note, Paul Kabaka, who I think was running about 11th or 12th from memory, he's dropped into the pits and not coming out again as well. So he went in on a normal pit and has just parked up as well. So I don't know what's happened there. But yeah, back to you. You were rFactor, I think. Oh
yeah, no, just getting on board with rFactor, see how he's getting on. At the moment, he's doing fine. He's got Leclerc closing up behind him. Actually, he is in nice position, trying to get back up into that 8th. And from the looks of it, that Leclerc could catch up with him. 2 mid-rear engine cars, Audi and McLaren. I know in the 2019, the McLaren was severely underpowered. In 2020, it's got its oomph back, but can it match this Audi is the question.
I really don't know. They're not cars. There's cars that I've watched commentated on, but not ones that I've driven. As you know, and it's coming to that time of night for that argument of front and rear engine cars. You know, me and my Lexus are very difficult to separate. I've tried to move to a Mercedes, but you know that front engine arrangement I can't get on with. But you know, I'm with Enzo. You know, the horse should pull the cart, very much so. And this newfangled stuff with the engine in the rear, I'm really not sure about, and I'm not convinced it's going to catch on personally. Pish, my man, pish.
I've been hopping. I was piggybacking the 720 for quite a while and liking it, and then I've moved back over to the 480, and I've not, well, I say 480, the 480 Evo, because I've not tried that. I seem to be doing okay with it. I need to work on my setups and having just a confident setup. That's my only thing that I seem to be suffering from with the 488 Evo at the moment, is that it's a spicy little car. It likes to play on a knife edge. You can get it with some of these Coach Dave setups that I've got. It seems the dampers are the key, and the Coach Dave damper setups are really good. I just need to possibly change rear. He has a lot of rake on the car. I find that it unsettles the back end when I want to hang it into a corner. So I may have to just adjust things there a bit, but they're not too bad. I do like the 488s and then the 720s.
Well, just as a quick aside there, we've just tipped over to the point where we're nearer to the end than we are to the beginning. We've just gone over half distance.
Way!
But going back to what he's saying about setups and that kind of thing, it's interesting. When I look at the guys like Kill City and Jazzman, who are just... Oh! Leclerc has just spun it going up the hill, I think, for the Schumacher S's.
No,
Just
I've
the
missed that
bag
as
of
well. Blast.
talent runneth over, and he's just spun it around. He was working his way up on the back of rFactor, and maybe just pushing a little bit hard on those fresh tyres, and it all went pear-shaped. I don't think he actually lost the position.
No.
But I think what will happen is that Ben Milden is going to be that little bit closer to him. And it does. Oh, it's right. I was thinking Ben had lost a couple of spaces there. Sorry, Ben Milden.
Yeah.
Through the pit stop, but he hasn't, because DH and Lucas have yet to pit, and DH has literally just gone, as I mentioned that. So
Yeah.
they're very much going on half distance.
Indeed.
But it's interesting you talk about the setup there, and it's always been the question in my mind, and it's an area where I've got a little bit of knowledge, and I sort of vaguely know what I'm doing, but I'm not at that really knowledgeable level. And I wonder with these guys like Kill City and Jazzman, is how much of it is alien skill and how much of it is setup. Because you look at things, not so much Formula One, where the driver doesn't have quite so much effect, I believe, on the car, but you look at things like MotoGP, where you've got Honda, where they've got a bike there, which they've obviously developed around Marc Marquez, who's won the World Championship like squillion times. But nobody else seems to be able to ride that bike in a way that makes it perform well and brings it to the front and gets good results. And even Mark, now he's come back from his injury, doesn't seem to be able to get it out of that bike. And they're working obviously to get the bike back to how he likes it. But even his superhuman alien skills doesn't seem to be able to do it. So how much of what Kill City and Jazzman are doing, how much of that is them and how much of it is set up, or is it a combination of the both? I'm never really sure, because I don't spend as much time on setup as I should do. I
think from what they say, when I say they say, the people on the internet and looking and watching, like is it Ataris, the guy from 505 who does YouTube clips and teaches you about the setups and stuff and the dynamics of how the game works and the physics in the engine. They say that realistically, setup is maybe only going to give you 20-30%. It's knowing the track and how you need to drive it. But I think the thing which setup does give more than anything else is, if you do it right, the confidence to be consistent at whatever best speed you can be. I end up, this is the thing I've only recently found, I end up finding I make a half decent setup, but it gets a bit too fizzy and poppy. And trying to do that for the sustained amount of time just becomes a bit difficult. Whereas really, hence why the Bentley's so comfortable. You see that last for so much longer, and you could just drive it for lap after lap after lap, and it seems to go. And again, it's finding that car you get the groove in, because in one of the series I was, making a fool of myself. After I'd finished third for 2 seasons on the trot in the Lexus, but I knew the Lexus it's an older car. I don't believe it's been developed as much as some of these other ones. Everybody seemed to be jumping to either Bentleys or Mercedes. So I went Mercedes, 2020 car, go for it, and so on. I just lost pace, hand over fist. I went backwards down the field. Really? I couldn't get speed out of the thing, and in last desperation, I just jumped car back to the Lexus, and I was back in my groove in like 2 laps. And so there is that, it's man and machine in perfect harmony, which has the rings of vague bell of being an old advert, which I'll Google in a minute. All right.
But it's that. It's having all those elements, I suppose, of driver, car, and setup all right, and it's learning how to bring all those together. Yeah. No, I have to admit, I don't know why. I can seem to get the feel of the MR engines a bit more. There is differences between the McLaren and the Ferrari for sure, because McLaren's just a caster of the wheel suspension angle. I think you can only maximum get that on the McLaren to about 8 degrees, where the Ferrari can go up to 14. So you've got a lot more of a, I don't know, of a sort of grander turn circle, it seems, when you've got the Ferrari, than the sort of more bitey, snappy version at what the McLaren gives you.
But with that,
Yeah.
when you push too
Oh.
much with the McLaren, you can save it a little bit. Whereas with the Ferrari, you can sort of push a little bit, then it goes, nah, adios, see you later, and off to the shadow realm.
And exactly, it's trying to get away from that cliff edge, and just having a gentle slope, isn't it? That when it's that, oh, Leclerc's got a bit loose again. He's across the gravel. I think that's down at the Dunlop curves, and I know he's got it all back together. He didn't lose a lot of time. It's that first left-hander where it's so tempting to break that a little bit late.
Yeah.
But you run the wide on the exit and run across the gravel. He did exactly that, but kept it all together, and he's now down to the hairpin and pointing in the right direction.
And he's keeping it.
I think this is probably before. Go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, he seems to be keeping it in good shape. I don't see any damage on it, but that was it. Carry on. What were you going to say?
Well, I've done. You know, I'm not going to hide. I did it on Google. But the man and machine in perfect harmony. This is probably a car that was launched before you were even born. The Ford Sierra.
Ford Sierra. Well, hold on a second. I'm not that young. What year was the Ford Sierra released?
1982.
Oh damn it! He is older than me. Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
There we go. So the listeners out there, I'm a youthful 36 to Trevor, and Trevor is a youthful 37. Let's just say that then, and just go from there.
I think you got those numbers in the wrong order. I just clocked over to the horrendous age of 53 the other day.
Oh, happy birthday, my man! Happy birthday!
Thank you very much. I've survived another year. That's the only, when you get over 50, you're into survival mode.
Is that what it is? You take each day as it comes.
So you go to you're in that little cusp of where friends are getting married and babies, and you're in all that kind of going to weddings and getting drunk and all that kind of thing. But when you get to my age, you suddenly tip over that, and suddenly you're into the funeral circuit.
Oh God.
And you do this horrible thing at the funeral circuit, is you look round and you wonder, who's next?
Oh Jesus!
You literally
I guess.
do that. You look around and think, you're sort of at the wake, and you're casting your eye around the room, and you're thinking, please don't let it be me.
Oh, good God! Right.
When everyone starts looking at you, you know you're in trouble.
Oh,
but
good God.
You got to be careful. When you get to my age, you're into that danger zone.
Oh right, away from the morbid facts and back to the racing. At the moment, it is all quieting down after the second set of pits for the time being. Rotters is the only person that I can see really gaming towards Matthew Asbur UK. I don't know if it's worth just keeping an eye on him and seeing how it's going for the time being.
Well, the other one I've been watching is Ben is keeping Leclerc quite honest at the moment. He's about a second or so behind. But doesn't seem to be able to quite make. He can't quite get his claws into the back of that McLaren and pull himself up onto it. So I think that's one of the battles that could develop as the race goes on. We've got 50 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Sadly we've had 1, 2. Well, you said Johnny Morella didn't actually get going, but Locke has pitted and gone back in again. And it seems to be those Ferraris are cursed. Notice how those Ferraris have shuffled their way down to the bottom of the pack. I don't know if it's something in this series or this particular track, but definitely those Ferraris are filling out the places at the bottom end of the chart there, aren't they?
They are. It does make you wonder. They're not. It's not like they're slow cars. They're fast cars. It makes you wonder if is it the front end graining on the front tyres, which is just not getting as much grip as it would do, and they're dropping off quicker, or I'll be honest with you, Trevor. I'm going to put it back to again setup, as I was saying. When you look at the Bentleys and everything else like that, just the feel of them, you just feel right. Granted, I've driven the Bentley. I've not really worked on the setups. I've not managed to make the Bentley feel pointy, make it feel sharp reacting. But when I have driven it, it's felt comfortable. It's felt safe. And the complete opposite scale is the Ferrari. So I'm going to assume possibly driving it continually on a sort of knife edge can wear you down a bit. You can't keep maybe as consistent as you would be. Only one theory, maybe it's many other things. These guys are obviously very good drivers, and I'm then should really be questioning their setup knowledge. They've probably got far better knowledge than myself, so Lord knows. But you're right, a lot of those Ferraris are dropping down the field.
And talk of them dropping down the field, and you remember Rotters had that stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's now trying to work his way back up. He's down in 13th, and he's working hard in his Bentley on the Ferrari of Matthew Asbury, and I think he's going to have him within the next few, I was going to say corners, I think maybe a few laps. He's right up on the back of Matthew there. Oh, Matthew's
really good exit speed out of that corner.
And yeah, is he going to get? Oh, he's looking. He's right at the rear wing of that Ferrari. He's looking for that gap on the inside. Can he make it stick? He's going for it. Oh, Matthew looks like he's gone deep there, but he's managed to pull it back on the exit as they charge back up the hill.
Rotters picking up a lot of marbles there, trying to dive down on that inside line, so just lost a little bit of grip. And that's.
Do you reckon that this is going to happen at the chicane? Do you think?
Possibly so. I have been watching these guys for about a lap and a half already so far, and he's been looking, as you see now, ever more, just trying to get that little window to see where he can get past, but he seems to be just waiting. It's that build-up. It's that build-up. He needs to have that. That's the thing with sometimes this track, and especially this track, you need to have that build-up to be able to push past that momentum, and there we go. He's out-braked himself. And he's had to take himself through the gravel pit there to save him going into the back of that Ferrari. And that's putting back a hell of a lot there. 2.3 seconds, maybe even more, up to 4 coming. So he's going to be cursing himself a little bit there. He just maybe took his eye off the ball. Late braked.
Jumping across to another bit of action, Ben Milden is right on the back of Leclerc as they're heading back up the hill towards the end of the lap. So Ben has been, he was about 1.1 and it seemed to be settled out of that, and then he just wound him in over a few laps, and just coming out of the hairpin at the bottom of the hill, they were really close. But now Leclerc seems to have pulled out a little bit of a gap, but we're still only talking less than half a second. So I think, you know, we know Ben's, you know, quite a keen driver. Oh, Jazzman's gone for the pits. We missed that in all of that.
Jazzman's gone for the pits. He's gone for the second. There we go. You were right. You were right. He's gone for a second dive.
Yep. So he's gone for a 30-minute and 2:45s. So he's got to work his way back up now through all that traffic.
That is going to be a tall ask, but then he's going to be the first of probably many who's going to have to do so. So it still may work in his favour. At the moment, SOP Milden, like you say, trying to give the pressure to Leclerc in front of him in that McLaren, but both of them not watching behind them, because DH Racing has just come from that last lap from about a second and a half gap behind Milden to only now 0.7 of a gap behind him as well. So watch this space, Trevor. We've seen it both before when you see two cars battling away and they get so wrapped up in it, then all of a sudden the car behind them just scoots through during a little bit of confusion between those two cars, and you never know, DH Racing could just completely leapfrog the pair of them.
Wow. Talking of Leclerc, Charles Leclerc last weekend when Max and Lewis were knocking themselves off the track, what did he do? Slipped through the inside and held the lead for about 98% of the race.
He did. He did a sterling job.
He's really coming on strong there, and you know, I always think in these pack of 3 cars, the car in the middle is always the most vulnerable, because you're trying to make that move on the one in front and you compromise your position, and the guy behind in the third of the pack has got nothing to lose. Yeah. But also look at the background, look who's coming as well to join the party. He's Jazzman, and
he's want to get through that pack. He wants to slice through them like butter, because he wants to look and try and get that first place back. I'm going to assume that McLaren of McLaren. Oh, there goes DH Racing. He is gone.
Well, that's one down for Jazzman. I don't know if Jazzman got through that cleanly. No, he didn't. He's in the Jazzman collected DH.
No. Oh no, and another Ferrari flawed algorithm's got him as well. Oh, we are having a massive off here. DH Racing then took out Jazzman. Flawed algorithm. Oh yeah, he's taken on some serious damage then.
Mucked it right up, isn't it?
Yeah, flawed algorithm getting back in there as well. He's definitely damaged his car. You can see the bonnet popping up. What's happened to DH Racing? DH Racing's trying to keep on going there. Now, I don't know. He's got definitely some damage on the front front of his car, let alone the front right of his car.
Doesn't look happy, doesn't it?
No. Now, I don't know what happened there with that Ferrari. DH Racing was sort of half on the track, trying to recoup himself and start going again. And I don't know if the Ferrari didn't see him till last minute and just went, oh, holy bejesus. And then with that, flew off the track and possibly caught Milden as well.
I think it's one of those where you just arrive on the scene and there's the car where it shouldn't be. And, you know, as much as you want to, there's just nowhere to go. Yeah. I know I had this up through the Schumacher S. I had a really good start in the race. It was a night race, and we come howling up through there, and I just overdrove it. Just trying. I think I was second or third, something like that, and it just came round on me, and it snapped back, and I thought, oh, I've got away with it, and the car behind me just T-boned me straight in the side of the car, and that was my night over.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is all so close. When the car behind catches, you know, it's all over, isn't it? So I think that's a little bit what happened there with those guys. That DH obviously got a little bit sideways, was playing around to catch it up, which he was fully entitled to do. And Jazzman was coming up with all his speed, and unfortunately, it appears Jazzman has left the room.
Yeah, he has.
Which is a sad thing to say. Unfortunately, I think he still could have got a reasonable position there.
He could have done, but
the winner in that will.
No, you're right. No, who's the winner? I want to know. Yeah. So, you know, DH was sort of, you know, a little bit left and right. Jazzman arrived on the scene quite quickly and spun out, and then, as you say, well, who was it? Was it rFactor that arrived? No, it wasn't rFactor. I'm trying to think who caught him. Oh, it was Algorithm, wasn't he? Flawed Algorithm, yeah.
Caught him. Yeah. And you can see all this thing going on, and you know, it's like Days of Thunder, isn't it? You're supposed to go for the gap, but your brain doesn't necessarily force your hand to do exactly what you want it to.
No, unfortunately not. And with that, we have lost Jazzman due to that. Understandably so. You know, and I know there's a lot of people which frown at people who sometimes rage quit and get angry, but I can understand it. I'm not going to lie, I sometimes do as well. When you get involved in a race, when you do something like ACC, it's not a normal video game. It is a simulation. You want to get good at it. You put hours and effort into making sure you get good at it, and when it goes wrong and you know you lose out, it can frustrate you because you put time and effort into it. So it's a shame to see him go, but you know, he will live to fight another day. I hope he's all right. I'll give him a message after this and see if he's okay.
Oh, you've got his number, have you? Cool.
Well, no,
I didn't realise you were that connected with these guys.
Just on Discord. No, don't know that well. You know him on Discord as well. Don't put me out on a. Make me feel like I'm.
Sorry, I was confused with big contact. I just know so many races. You see, that's my problem.
You know so many, yeah, but you know actual races. I know lots of sim races. Bit of a difference.
So, where have we got things bubbling over now then, Daxi?
Still at the moment is Milden and Leclerc. Not much going on between the two. It is, look at that. They've both just gone through the start-finish line. Both of them on a 57 dead. One on a 57 dead, 0.07, one on a 57 dead, 0.06. That's how close these two cars are. And they're trying to see if one can get past the other. I can see Ben edging away. And that's the big difference there. I'm on looking at the dash sort of GoPro view from this Bentley. You just see the McLaren when he's going through those tight corners, just that little bit of understeer, just not helping him around those corners where the Bentley just digs in and grips in around that corner compared to him. But then the exit speed, or at least the exit angle and pull away from the McLaren seems to be actually really good, and that's saying something when you've got a Bentley engine behind you and you're still pulling away because you managed to just get that little bit more speed around that corner.
Yeah, it's just getting that balance all the time, isn't it? And that's sometimes, you know, when you get into these battles, you're just trying to get that little edge, aren't you? And you're tempted to push it that little bit harder. And you just, you know, we talked about falling over the edge earlier, and it's exactly that, isn't it? You just try and do a little bit more.
Yeah.
and it just comes back and bites you, doesn't it?
It's one of those you go, oh, I can take another percent here. Okay, let's try the next lap. Oh, should I go for another percent? Okay, yeah, I'll go for another percent. Oh, I'm just doing it. Yeah, I'm starting to catch him. Brilliant. Right, next lap, I'm going to see if I can do another percent. Oh no, Shadow Realm. Oh dear, there we go. and that's what happens. Ben Milden getting very close though to Leclerc up through those. And is it NKR chicane? I can never remember. NGK, that's the one. And then round.
Spark plug.
That's the one, Spark Plug Company. And oh, Ben's going for it. He's trying to look if he can dive down on the inside. He's trying, but
he caught him?
No, he hasn't. But he's not got that position either. That McLaren doing really well with some late braking, but pushed too hard through the second corner here. And Ben Milden might get a look down on the inside. Again, this part of the track really hard to try and take someone on because you can't push hard. It's a tight 1-2 first second gear track, part of the track. You can't really push, but here they go now. What do you think, Trevor?
He's going to lick. Oh, I thought he was going to lick the stamp and send it there. I thought that was going to be it down into Valvoline, but he thought better of it. But he's definitely been racing. And he started that from the last corner of the previous lap because he was showing his nose down the inside. So he's trying to get very, very racy in those rear view mirrors of Leclerc there. So I think he's just trying to force the mistake because the gap there, in reality, it's showing 0.394, but in reality, it's nothing. And I think he's just got to get the right sequence of corners because this is one problem with this circuit. Oh, and he's looking.
Can he?
Is he going to get it done up the inside? No.
He's playing it safe. He's playing it safe, but with that, he's ghosted him. Look at that.
I think Leclerc's gone deep. And
switch back down the straight.
He's going to try and go for the switchback. No, he didn't. He lost. I thought he was going to try for the switchback and get a run down towards the chicane. But this has split them out a little bit. But I've got a feeling this is going to either end in tears or Ben is going to get by, one of the two. But they're racing really respectfully at the moment, which is great to see. But Leclerc just looks like he's getting a bit scrappy. He's missing those apexes. He's running a bit more curved than what we were seeing earlier. Now Ben's right under the rear wing of that McLaren as they go down the straight. Under the M-Power bridge. Ben's pulling out. He's not quite alongside yet, but they're going down to the first corner. Can he be brave on those brakes? Is he going to do Ricardo and send it? Oh, he's looking. Oh, that was almost a repeat of last lap, but now he's on the wrong side for the next left-hander. And no, he's still trying to do the switchback. I think he's got it between the two corners here. Oh, it's so tight, isn't it, Daxi?
He's got that line, but then it's back onto the left here, which gives the McLaren the advantage. You've got to give Milden 10 out of 10 for effort and trying. He wants to hold that line into this next corner. Can he do it? Can he late brake him? No, he's...
Oh, yeah, again, I'm wrong.
No, he's had to back out. It's the long game he's playing. Fair play to him. He's not going to push it too hard, but... God, it's...
fantastic racing to watch,
really is.
You know, they're
giving
each other
space.
Nobody's doing anything daft. And it just, you know, it seems to be that section, doesn't it? From the last corner down towards the hairpin is where all the action happens with these two. But I think Ben, I don't know what your mindset would be. I would just be putting the pressure on and on and on, trying to force Leclerc into a mistake. So I think he made one or two small ones earlier on. So I reckon he's going to go, Ben's just going to pressurise him. And I think, considering how Ben was talking before the race, I think coming away with a fifth, I think he'll be really chuffed with this.
Oh yeah, I definitely think he'll be really, really chuffed with it. And it's a testament to that Bentley, how much he's just been managed to harass that McLaren. Because there's, both cars are very good. McLaren possibly, we can say, is possibly, maybe the faster or at least the easier to handle compared to the two in theory because of the way it's set up. But this Bentley just not giving it any time of day and all over the back of him. Look at that there.
Here we go. Ben's doing the same thing again, going for the inside into that first corner. He's not quite as close this time, so hasn't put Leclerc off his position. But Leclerc's taking it tight into the next left-hander, and Builder's trying to go around the outside. That's brave if he can do it. No, he can't quite make it stick, but that compromises Leclerc into the entry to the next left. Ben's trying to go around the outside of the left. Has he got him the inside for the next corner? He has, but Leclerc's driven it right round the outside of him. So they head down again. This is amazing stuff, but it's always through this first section, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Leclerc seems to have got a bit of a gap this time round.
Is neck and neck with these two, just non-stop. It's like you say, especially around that first sector, through that Mercedes complex, I'm going to call it, and they just can't seem to completely seal the deal. But that's a testament to both drivers. Sorry, go for it.
Talking of sealing the deal, tennis in the house is very close on the back of the Kaiser. So we've got two battles going on here. So that's Bentley on Bentley there, and coming in the background, a little bit behind is rFactor. So it looks like we've got quite a battle here going on for second place. So the podium, from my thinking, is not quite settled yet.
Well, definitely not that well. I don't know if first place can be touched, but definitely second and third is up for grabs and changing ever more. Those two Bentleys, oh yeah, Tinnitus in the house is definitely getting right up behind Kaiser there. I don't know what Kaiser's going to do to defend that there. He does look like he's got the faster speed around this track than him. And look at that there, his last lap of 57.189. That's not going to be too bad with a... Let's think about, there's going to now be about a half tank of fuel. And the tyres worn in quite well. I'm trying to remember to myself, did the house wait till about halfway through in his Bentley? I think he did before he pitted, didn't he? Both him and Kaiser went in at the same time.
I was taking a couple of screenshots, as you know, I like my data. Let me just have a quick look. I know this is not quite F1 coverage, but we'll do what we can. Yeah, they were guys that were holding out, the ones that seemed to go early. Kaiser was one of the ones that went early, interestingly. But Tennis in the House was one of the ones that hang on, so I think he's on a one-stopper. Yeah. I think rFactor is as well. So I think the one that might fall down the order here is Kaiser, because I think he's on a two-stopper, which if he is going quite late, isn't he? Because we've got 30 minutes to go. Because by the looks of this, I think I took this shot around about with about 40 minutes gone. So whoever Kaiser's trying to run to the end, and Tennis is actually just running out on the grass there. So we've got 30 minutes to go, but I think Kaiser's going to run out of tyres here, even if he's got enough fuel to get to the end.
Do you think so?
I think if he does, I'm quite impressed.
If he doesn't run out of fuel, he's definitely got to run out of tyre wear, that's for sure. I think you're definitely right with that.
And I'm just looking back with where Ben Milden on Leclerc. Oh, yeah, still.
He's pushing around the Coca-Cola.
That last corner.
God.
Yeah, Leclerc was out and across the grass, and Ben Milden was, you know, looking to take the advantage. But Leclerc's making those odd little mistakes, but they're not big enough to give, you know, it's not big enough to allow sort of Milden to kick the door open and go through. Yeah,
this is it. There seems to be Milden sort of goes to make a pounce, but then Leclerc has still got that door shut on him, so he can't really make it completely round. I've got sort of over the spoiler shot of these two now from Leclerc's car. So they head around this first complex. And the Bentley does seem to have a good run out of this last section here. No, so McLaren is still pulling away. And this fight is just going to continue, I think. It's going to continue for the time being. How is it getting on with our other two further down the field? Or further up the field, am I saying? Right,
don't confuse me like that, you know.
Sorry.
That's easily done.
Sorry, I was thinking about in the house, but he has actually increased his gap between him and second place Kaiser to 0.8 hundredths of a second from what it said on the split here.
Yeah, but I think when you look at that now, it's 0.251.
Oh gosh, yeah.
He's right behind him. Oh, he took a massive, Tennis in the House took a massive chunk out of the chicane there. I don't know if that was possibly, you know, given ticking off and track warnings, but I think he had all four wheels outside of the red and white curb, so that was a little bit pushing his luck there.
Good.
But he's definitely working his way back up there, so he's not giving it up. But again, Kaiser's you know, he's going to have those tyres on for an awful long time. So unless he's got a strategy there that we haven't thought of, I think he may, you know, because if he has to pit again, he's going to tumble an awful long way down this field, isn't he?
Oh yeah, well we're now in that last quarter. It's now under 30 minutes left. You don't want to really pit at this point here unless you've got a good substantial window of time as a cushion to help you out. You're not going to have the time to build it back up, are you?
Oh no, not at all. And the difference with this, you know, some of the other racing that we've commentated on is that these guys are all so close, aren't they? You know, there's a little bit of a gap there between those top four and then the sort of Leclerc, Milden, DH Racing pack. But overall, they're all so tight. You know, there's very few that have dropped off the lead lap. So the pain that you're going to take by having a pit stop at this late stage is going to be massive, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely not. It's not something you want to tactically have to take. Not at all. I can understand if someone maybe unfortunately gets a bit of damage and they go, right, no, I need to just jump in and jump back out. I prefer to lose 5-6 spaces than, you know, not continue at this point. But yes, I'm going to assume that you're right. I think Kaiser may hit a wall, possibly last 10 to 15 minutes with tyres, and that's when Tinnitus is going to, in the house is going to then be able to take advantage. You're right. How is he not getting track warnings from that? That's the second lap I've seen him do that there, and you're right. He just absolutely. Firstly, how is he doing that without getting shot off into the moon with that massive little boulder in the middle? And secondly, how is he not getting a track limit because of what he's taken over that corner?
Well, that's why they're aliens and you and me aren't. They found that magic. Can't give you a full answer. That's the best I can come up with on the spot.
Yeah.
But it's just, but it is that thing of just not, and you know, all joking aside at the curbs in that scenario. But it's just knowing how far you can push the limits on all of it, isn't it? Not just the car, it's a track and everything else. And as you say, you get it slightly too far the other side. You and me, you think, oh well, we can get away with that. And all of a sudden, you're heading, as you say, off to the shadow realm. And you think, where did that all go wrong?
Yeah.
But then you watch these guys, and they just straight over it like it wasn't even there. And you think, that's so unfair. Oh, sorry, I wonder what was happening there. It was Matthew pulling over to be lap there.
Oh, right.
So doing a great job there. But this is really working hard on rFactor and on Kaiser there. And it was interesting. I think Kaiser lost a bit of time in lapping Matthew there. Not that Matthew did anything wrong. He was jumping out of the way as you know, best he could. But I think it just, you know, Tinnis just suddenly got under the wing of that other Bentley, and you know, he's just to get by. And I just, you know, with 26 minutes to go, those tyres have been on Kaiser's car, I think, for the best part of an hour. So they've
more and more.
They've got to be under 1mm tread, surely.
Well, yeah, this is where you've got to wonder. There's definitely going to be a wall which is being hit there. I'm leapfrogging between the two, Leclerc and Milden, and then the house and Leclerc up front there. No, sorry, Leclerc is down there with Milden. Oh, I'm just getting completely confused now. But the two Bentleys versus the Bentley and the McLaren. For the time being, Ben is still pecking away at him there, a hundredth of a second in it, as they head up towards these NGK chicane.
Well done, you got it,
Thank you, I did second question myself for a split second there.
Oh, there's another factor coming in here quickly. Kill City's coming up to lack Milden and Leclerc.
Is that who's behind them? It is who's behind them.
Yep.
First place is actually overtaking 6th and 5th at the moment. And Ben's having to give way, which I think, unfortunately for him, has given Leclerc the window and opportunity that he really wanted. Now, if he can, if potentially Kill City going past Leclerc mucks up his race, well, at least drops him at least a second back, then they may be back together. But for the time being, Leclerc's got a good nearly second gap between him and Milden now.
But yeah,
or maybe not.
Oh, look. Oh, wow, Ben's got the inside of Leclerc. You're exactly right. That Kill City compromised Leclerc when he was lapping him, and Ben got the great opportunity there, heading down into Valvoline, and got down the inside of him and got the move done. I was with you that Ben seemed to have lost so much time on Leclerc when he let Kill City through to lap him. I thought that was all over, but obviously Leclerc must have even lost more time when he let Kill City through, and Ben leapt on him in a heartbeat. Fantastic move there.
Generally speechless. Not for any bad reason, but because for a split second I got the Kill City McLaren mixed up with the Leclerc McLaren. I just assumed it was the Kill City going past, and for some reason giving the position back to Milden, and then it all hit home that he's just snuck through at the same time. Really well done there. So it's going to be now, is he just going to keep increasing that gap between him and the McLaren behind him? At the moment it's 0.5 of a second, and it does seem to be increasing, so very much so, one would think. So 5th position, looking well, 20 minutes left nearly, and 5th position there for Milden. Not a bad spot.
Not a bad spot at all, but Kaiser, he's the one we don't know in this pack, isn't he? He's too far ahead for Ben to catch, but I think, you know, if Kaiser, if those tyres drop off a cliff, I think that's going to be a completely different element there. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I really know you're going to say, well, you would have said that anyway. But I was just going to say, as that situation arose with Ben, Milden, Leclerc and Kill City lapping them, is I always see that as a great opportunity of trying to sneak through on the car in front when the lap car's coming through, and try and use him to make the gap to get yourself through in front and overtake the car that he's also lapping, maybe with position on the track and so on. And Ben did exactly that. So he summoned his inner Trev, and it was fantastic.
Love that, the inner Trev. It just came through. Brilliant stuff. Well, can the same be done now for De Haas and Kaiser? Do you reckon Kaiser's going to do it? I just saw Claude Algorithm there taking a bit of a cut through that chicane in the background, but he doesn't really need to matter because he's a backmarker full compared to these two. He may get obviously a track warning for that, but you get 4 before you get a drive through, so you can test your luck 4 times.
Well, you see, I'm a bad person because I tend to consider them sometimes as jokers.
Yeah.
Particularly, may I suggest, at going over the top of Eau Rouge into Radion, if I'm trying to catch a car in front and want to have a little bit of excess speed, I have possibly cheekily been known to cut the curb over the top, take me track warnings, and accept the clip round the ear hole, with grace, and also have about a 5 mile an hour more up the straight towards Les Coups.
Yeah.
And overtake the car in front.
There we
which
go.
I know is not quite sporting, and I highly don't recommend anybody else out there does it.
Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? Some would say sportsmanship-wise, it's a big no-no, but at the same time, when you're in a race and this is a game, you use every tool in your arsenal, don't you? And if you've got 4 gimmies, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't, if you purposely use them every single time, maybe, not brilliant, but at the same time, you risk getting a drive through, and that all going to everything you've just risked all going to pot anyway. So it is a tricky one. I've known to do some manoeuvres sometimes when, I'll get someone who they've pushed too hard on the corner, and I've then managed to catch back up to him, not on that corner, but the next corner down, and we're going down a straight. And he's trying to push me out. I may try and take nearly 2 tyres off the track to just get past him, because I know I can. He'll give me a track warning, but at the same time he's trying to defend against something which is, it's a give and take. I don't know. People may give me flack for it.
Come across, yeah. I think it's happening on.
Oh my God, it is happening. It is happening. Down the start finish straight.
He's got him. He got down the inside of the last corner, and he got the run on the exit. He got alongside, so he got the speed. And
he's got still the inside on that
first corner, but now it's a switch back. But he's got it. He's got it. Fantastic. Now, is that a reflection of Kaiser's tyres falling off a cliff, or did Tinnis just pull out the manoeuvre? I'm not sure. You know, we'll know in a minute as to see where the lap times sort of expand as the time goes on. But the thing I didn't realise rFactor had dropped off quite so far off the back of Tinnis there.
Oh, yeah,
I thought he was a little bit closer, so maybe he could have taken advantage. But Kaiser's not dropping off the back of Tinnis there at all, is he?
No, he's not. Which is surprising, that, because you saw one after the other all over the back of him. But maybe it's just the fact that these are big cars. They leave you a nice little sort of slipstream air pocket to keep up with the other guy in front of you. Maybe that's there, but we'll see. Another thing which will give us the sort of guidance is, will flawed algorithm manage to catch up with third place Kaiser and go from there? That could be a good indicator for if tyres are starting to drop off for these two. But there we go. It does seem to be slowly, ever slowly increasing between De House and Kaiser. A couple of hundredths every corner.
Yeah, but he's not leaping away as you would expect him to when he's had that length of time on the tyres. So, you know,
He's done it again.
That.
Sorry, I'm just shocked there, because that was flawed algorithm taking that corner over the grass again.
Maybe he's found the magic line, but I think he's used up 2 of his jokers.
Yeah, he's definitely used up some of his jokers there. I don't know how much.
Just going. Yeah.
Because let's have a look. He's got 9-second gap between him and Lucas Brain in 8th position, flawed algorithm. So even trying it's not going to work out in his favour. He's not going to kill off 9 seconds in 17 minutes. It's just not going to happen.
Well, but the other issue, I'm still going back, because I was doubting myself, and I rarely do that, was that Kaiser hadn't actually done what we thought he'd done, which was, you know, pit on those tyres so early. But he has. I was checking the time on my my phone with the picture I took, and he's been on those tyres for 1 hour and 3 minutes.
He has been on the front. So yeah, I reckon this last 15 minutes coming up here, Trevor, he has to hit a wall, or he's going to hit some form of grip wall, because, like you say, that's going to be, it's what they start off with, 3 mil of nice, juicy, fresh, squishy rubber. But after a good hour, that's going to drop down to maybe what, 1.5, maybe 2 if you're lucky to conserve the tyres.
Isn't it below 1 where they consider the tyre to be worn? But usually the suggestion is about an hour's worth of driving on an average circuit you'll get out of tyres.
Yeah, they normally start to drop off after about an hour. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe he's conserved them. Maybe he's doing a better line than what we give him credit for, and he's got a good bit of tyre conservation going on there. The only thing we can't tell, unfortunately, with these stats, like you can do with GT Sport, is how much grip you've got left on those tyres.
You can't, and that's what, and that's where I think is so much better about this game compared to the likes of GT Sport, is that you shouldn't have a little thing on your dashboard saying that you're X% worn on certain tyres. You've got to feel that through the steering wheel, through the pedal, through how your body's strapped to the car, and just get those sensations, haven't you? It's not, you know, it shouldn't be on a little app on your dashboard, and these guys need to be feeling it as they're driving it to see what they're getting.
This is it. At the moment, I'm just doing an onboard with Kill City, as he's absolutely flying around this track. Just set a 1:55 as a standard lap time. His fastest lap time so far this race has been a 1:54.579. I don't know if that is, I'm going to assume it is the fastest lap of this race, because that's a phenomenal speed. That's a good, at least nearly 4 seconds faster than what I can even try and attempt to get around this track. And where do you find 4 seconds from?
I know, and isn't that the frustration when you look at what you can do? You think you're right on the limit, and you go around in your qualifying lap. You got low fuel, fresh tyres, and then you look at these guys, and they've got worn tyres. You know, it's towards the end of the race, and suddenly they're putting in laps that are quicker than you're qualifying, and you think that's so unfair.
Yeah.
Where's that talent coming from? So I'm just looking up and keeping an eye on that battle up the front there. Kaiser's dropped about 2.2 seconds behind Tinnis, but I don't think he's in danger of being caught by rFactor in fourth, unless, you know, we've got 14 minutes remaining, so roughly that's about 7 laps. So I think he can hang on to, he could be, what could he be on 7 laps? He could be 2 seconds a lap slower, and rFactor still wouldn't catch him.
This is it. So I'm just watching him.
So
He's wrestling this McLaren the whole way round. About to go across the line now again here. Another 54.82 standard lap time for this guy. Absolutely amazing. Sorry, I'm going to get back off and see what else we've got going on. Trevor, who should we take an eye out, see what's going on next?
well, I can't see anything that's happening right now. I'm just trying to see what's going to be developing, and Kaiser's dropping away about 0.7, 0.8 of a second a lap from Tinnis, and I'm just wondering whether those tyres are well over an hour old now, and is it a case that they're going to start really falling away? Because he needs, with the time we've got left, to be about 2 seconds a lap quicker than rFactor to hold on to that final podium position. So I don't know, you know, it'll be interesting. He's dropped, you know, even further back now from the Kaiser, but I'm just waiting for the time to come through for him from rFactor. The other factor is that Kill City, his march up through the field, is catching up with rFactor, so he's the next guy to lap. So whether rFactor can use Kaiser as somebody to, whether rFactor can use Kill City as someone to drag him around the circuit,
Possibly.
that would be interesting to see him.
Possibly.
To put himself up on the back.
Yeah, sneak through on the back markers with him instead, you know, make his moves when he can do. This, like I said, that Ferrari, a flawed algorithm, even though it is a back marker, is now only, well, I know it says a second now, but he was more than a second behind Kaiser, and a few moments ago around that track he was less than a second behind him. So it does seem those tyres seem to be dropping off. I'm not sure. It's 15 second words. Do you reckon 15 seconds worth of drop off before the end of the race? But I guess with tyres, the problem is the more you race on them, the more they start to drop off because the more they wear. So
yeah.
how much time can he lose is the question.
Well, and the other one on that area is DH Racing, who I don't think went for the pits after that sort of shenanigans that involved Jazzman and I think Algorithm. He's still out there, but obviously we believe with a slightly damaged car from that incident. He's hanging on there, doing a great job in 7th. I'm just wondering how Lucas Brain is going to get on catching him up, because he's a little way behind him, not a massive amount, but because DH is carrying a little bit of damage from that, and Lucas is about 9 seconds behind with probably about 6 laps left to run. So that's one that might bubble up as the race goes on. It just depends how much damage DH is carrying, but certainly with that kerfuffle they had at the chicane there, he's done very well to hang on to that position. He's only 4.6 seconds behind Leclerc.
This is true. Let's have a look at the timetables. Can we see what's going on race? No, we can't see what's going on race-wise. That's annoying. So I just wanted to see if there was a lap times for Lucas and DH Racing, just to see the difference there between those Ferraris and the Porsche. Let's try and see if we can keep an eye on it on the board here when they go round. But for the time being, we are spread out, but then we are 10 minutes in, or into the last 10 minutes of a 2-hour race, so spread out is to be expected.
It is, but we're just looking at one of those ones that are bubbling, and rFactor's now only 13 seconds behind the Kaiser. The Kaiser's now nearly 6 seconds behind Tinnis. So now Tinnis has been released from being stuck behind Kaiser's Bentley. He's cleared off up the road, and now rFactor's only 12 seconds behind. So I reckon rFactor's got his eye in here, and he can see that gap coming down. but rFactor's just about to lose a fraction or two as he just moves his Audi out of the way to let the McLaren of Kill City through. So it'll be interesting if rFactor can hang on to the back of Kill City for maybe a few corners.
Yeah.
And see how he can use him to drag himself up, because we've got 9 minutes remaining, about 5 laps. So it's not impossible, rFactor. You know, that's coming by 3 seconds, that gap to Kaiser. So that is one that could bubble up.
Definitely so.
And the other one that's starting to happen is D8 Racing on Leclerc. He was about 4 seconds behind. He's now only 2.7.
Oh, really? Is Leclerc dropping off as well now with those tyres? Saying that could be a reason possibly why Ben Milden managed to get that pounce manoeuvre on him in the end, because possibly, again, being MR engine, and if you set it up wrong, you may get that bit too much understeer on those front 2 tyres. You wear those 2 out and they just don't have that grip through the corners that you want them to have, and the pointiness starts to drop off. So Leclerc could have a poke at DH Racing could have a poke at Leclerc here, as you're saying. It's now dropping down to about 1.5 seconds between those two. But at the moment, I am keeping on board with rFactor to see if he can start chewing away that gap between him and I'm sorry, I can't see the racer's name in front of him.
Kaiser.
Kaiser, that's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, it was interesting that rFactor does. Oh no, he's got it down to 11 seconds now, so it's possible. It just, I think, at the rate he's catching him now, I don't think he's going to do it. If Kaiser's tyres start to drop off a cliff, I think there's a chance he could, because suddenly he's going to take great bites out of that lead in a very short period of time. And we've got about 4 laps to go, 10-second gap, so he needs about 2.5 seconds a lap, which if, you know, Kaiser's tyres are going to drop off a cliff, that could well be something that's not impossible.
Well, this is it. And the other thing I suppose he needs to watch out for is if they do drop off a cliff, then it's not only the fact that he's going to have a slower lap time, he's going to be a lot more prone to mistakes and boo-boos if anything goes wrong for him. So, you know, it may not even be the fact that he will catch him just in lap terms. He may then cause a little mistake for himself, and with that, rFactor can get right in actual biting distance and do something about that. At the moment, now down to 8.1 seconds and possibly closing even more.
But no, the 8.1 is the Kaiser how the gap's grown from Tinnis to the Kaiser.
I do apologise. So 9.7.
He's under 10 seconds now.
Still significant.
You're getting all excited. We're coming up to the finish.
I know.
Deep breaths now. You know, breathe with me.
Breathe, Darren. Breathe.
That's good. So, just working away through the field there, just quickly. I think rFactor, I think that's going to take a couple of laps to bubble over.
Should we start from the back?
I think he's going to be happy with that position in the 5th. You know, I know in some of the other series he's been the guy at the front. But I think he's going to be happy with that 5th, because he was down there in 9th or 10th, and I'm not sure where he qualified, but I'm imagining he's going to be quite happy with that.
I think he was. I think he was in a sort of halfway in that there. But yes, you're right. Him and the guys from Symphony of Pistons are going to be happy with this result. That is for sure. What were you going to say?
So, and then obviously we've got Leclerc, who I think he was a little bit further up with that battle, wasn't he? And then he got a bit separated, and obviously Ben got him when he got that manoeuvre on him, and he dropped back from 5th to 6th. And DH Racing, they're down in 7th. He's doing well in the Porsche. He's recovering from that incident at the chicane. Didn't pit, so he's done well on the back of that. Then Lucas, he's had a fairly quiet race, hasn't he, Lucas Brain?
Fairly, I have to admit, it's not been too crazy. He was up in the action at one point. I think he was like in the top 5, and then I think he got caught with something and got pushed out to the gravel trap, and at this point this is the best as he's managed to get back at the moment, so he's up to 8. But he was doing quite well. It's just a bit of a shame what happened to him there in his chrome black Ferrari.
And then Flawed Algorithm, who's been taking those great bites out of the chicane, also had that got involved in that instant chicane with Jazzman and DH. He's done well. He's still got that back there in 9th, so he's doing well there, isn't he?
Yeah,
And then Matthews in 10th. He's somebody else who's had a fairly quiet race, really, isn't he? Yeah, we haven't seen him too close to anybody else, really.
Well, you know who I did see him battling with earlier in the race. Earlier in the race, Matthew was actually battling with Esfel quite a lot, and it was Esfel which actually got in front of him and had that position. So it's only just till you mention it now, I'm like, there has been something has happened where Matthew and Esfel, I don't know if it was a mistake by one of the drivers or maybe a poor pitting strategy, but Matthews took in that spot back there, and it was Esfel that was actually the one pushing to get past Matthew, and he did get past him. So interested to see him so far behind him now. So Quadrido, I have to give him credit.
Yeah,
coming back from where he did
he's come back, isn't he?
He got some bad damage only a few laps into it and sent him just so far back down the pack. But kudos to him. He kept at it. He didn't let it get him down. He kept more patience than possibly I would have done. And gone through.
And then Rossers was fairly up mid-pack, I remember. But then unfortunately he caught that stop and go 30 seconds, which I think was probably for pit lane speeding.
Yeah.
And that really spoiled his race there, because where he's out of sync from that sort of midfield pack is roughly the time of where he's sat now. And then Esfel, he's dropped 3 laps there, but I'm not sure. He's still circulating, but I'd imagine he's had some damage somewhere that we didn't spot.
Possibly so. Like I said, he, to all intents and purposes, I saw him as a fairly comfortable driver, like he was in front of Asbrook, Asbur UK. He's not now, so what has happened is, unbeknownst to us, there are unfortunately lots of cars on the track, and trying to keep up with every bit of thing that does happen, it's not always feasible. But hey ho, 13th position is not bad. You're still in the points. This is the thing. Every one of these drivers are in the points at this point. No one is out of it. Even the guys potentially who are still in the pits are in the points, because I think it goes down to 15 if I'm correct. Let me just check what it says over here. Yeah, you get points up to 16th place from what I can see, and then from there that is it. So let's have a quick look at the rules.
Well, actually, there was a fighting chance me or you could have scored a point then, because Johnny Mudralla has not left the pits. So there's half a chance we could have pulled something off there.
Possibly so.
Maybe we're missing an opportunity here. Well, getting back to the action, I think rFactor, he's got that gap. We've got, probably a lap, maybe 2 to go. rFactor's got that gap down to the Kaiser, down to 6.2. And he was around about 15 seconds about sort of 12, 13 minutes ago. He's getting it down, but unless something drastic happens or Kaiser makes a mistake, I don't think he's going to be able to make that sort of last position on the podium. And the other problem rFactor's just about to run into is he's got 2 lap cars right in front of him, so I think that's going to spoil his chances. But the one that is bubbling up is DH Racing on Leclerc.
Let's get on board.
They're just going through the Mercedes section, and DH, as we predicted earlier, this was likely to bubble up. With less than a minute to go, DH Racing is right under the rear wing of Leclerc in the McLaren. And it's going to be a bit of a last lap nail biter, I think.
Oh,
DH is going for the outside line around there. Can he make it stick around the outside?
I think he has done.
He has done, but he's on the wrong side as they go down to the hairpin. Can he get that Porsche in front? Yes, I think he has.
Oh, Leclerc late braking.
No, Leclerc going about the brakes. Oh, that was sort of always going to end in tears. That was such a late braking manoeuvre. And DH Racing has got the position, and that was Rotters. That's a lap car in the background there. So yeah, I think Leclerc, that was a bit ambitious. That was, ambition over adhesion there, I think. Oh, but just we mentioned that, I think that battle's over. But Kill City's finished the race. Congratulations.
We've missed Kill City going across the line. Apologies, Kill City. Let's get at least second place going across. Which is he's still going round. There we go. So that is it. That's just come up and jumped back up on us out of nowhere, because Leclerc is still fighting away Well, still trying to defend his position against the back marker there, and that McLaren has definitely dropped off some grip on those two front tyres, because that Porsche just went past him like he was nothing, didn't it?
Yeah. But I think we can blame Kill City for being just so fast. He caught us out from being so far ahead.
Indeed we do. So that is it. This is the end of this 2-hour race. Kill City in first. Sorry, go for it. What were you going to say, Trev?
Well, what I was going to say is Kill City was so far ahead of Tinnis, but Tinnis had just started his final lap, and Kill City behind him crossed the line and finished the race. That's what caught us out.
Yeah, this is...
Tinnis is still only just working his way back up from the hairpin. He was such a massive lead, and unfortunately we lost Jazzman halfway through the race, and that was the guy that we thought was going to maybe just be able to give him a bit of a challenge. So Tinnis is just working his way back up the chicane, and the other guy out there who's popped out of the pits, who's been in there for an awful long time, is Locker. He's rejoined the race to cross the finishing line. So that appears to be a bit of a strategic move. So as Tinnis comes around the last corner, Locker has just come out, pootled round it literally looks like he is pootling round. So that almost looks like a little bit of a protest there going on.
Lord knows.
But
Lord knows.
he's trundling. Yeah, that's a definite, unless he's lost the whole gearbox and not bothered to repair it, he seems to be trundling around there in just first gear.
Lord knows. Well,
but congratulations there to our top three.
Indeed, you're right. Spot on. Congratulations to the top three. Go for it. It's Kill City, Tinder's in the house, Kaiser in third, Refract fourth, SOP Milden, well done to that man, in fifth, DH Racing in sixth, Leclerc dropped down to seventh. Good race for him there. It's just a shame his tyres dropped off on him. Lucas Brun in 8th, Flawed Algorithm 9th, Kudo in 10th, Matthew Asbrook UK in 11th, Rotters 12th, S Fell 89 in 13th, Jazzman unfortunately in 14th because he got taken out there, Lock 09 in 15th, Pokavaca in 16th, Flipping in 17th, and Johnny Metrella in 18th there. They're the bottom five there, unfortunately. I think they've bottom five there, unfortunately, all in the pits or retired by the end of that race there. But guys, what a race, Trevor. What another astounding...
That was fantastic because...
Hello?
Well, I think it was stunning because what I was impressed with was the fact how... Okay, let's take Kill City out of it because he, I don't want to apportion blame, but he spoiled it a bit for us. Stunning drive there. But look at that. Nearly, apart from second place, he lapped everybody.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to battle that? That's incredible. So he did a stunning job up front, but behind him it was also close. And the great thing was, there was those great battles towards the end, wasn't there? DH Racing and Leclerc, changing positions with just one lap to go, and rFactor closing down Kaiser on his worn tyres, but couldn't quite make it. He finished just 4 seconds behind. So there was action all the way. It's not one of these endurance races where they all gradually split up and we're relying on my waffling old stories to fill the time. This was fantastic stuff, and it's really great racing to see. So I've been really impressed what I've seen tonight.
Oh, so if I have to admit, this has been a brilliant endurance event. Hopefully we can come back for more with Apex Online Racing from me and Trevor. But for now, if you like it, of course, hit the like button. Let us know how you feel about it. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Keep us updated with how many people are enjoying our content. And if you want more, hit that alert so you get to hear more of us. It is myself, Daxty Man, and my amazing co-commentator, Trevor, saying good night. Sorry, I paused there for you to say something and realised I didn't actually give you a proper reason to say something there, Trevor. And a good evening from my man, Trevor.
Well, I was just going to say, and it's good night from me.
That's a good night for me. Guys, thank you very much and all the best. Congratulations again to Kill City, Tinnitus in the house, and Kaiser. From us, it is over. Have a good evening and night-night. Done. Okay, cool.